Good morning to you, baby dolls. We're going to answer the question, has crypto truly bottomed? We're going to focus on Bitcoin because Bitcoin has the most data. We can only guess. This is all speculation. There are no formulas. There are no rules. You know by now, all it takes is one schizo with a hunched back and some crumpled slippers to send us to zero, even negative numbers. You will owe money to the blockchain. But also, one person who kind of takes a drink that may or may not be spiked with illicit substances, and now he's just buying like a madman. A drunk Michael Saylor who's euphoric and pupils out of his head. That's all it takes. But can we actually look at evidence? This is the Bitcoin chart. Maybe you've heard of this crypto. It's very hard to be objective in these, but here is something that nobody talks about. I'm going to write it down for you so you know what I mean. When Bitcoin rallies plus 100% off the low, a 2x, it has a strong, that's 3 strong chance to be the bottom of the cycle. Very strong. It's not 100% guaranteed, and I'll never ever say this, but it's true. So when Bitcoin rallies a 2x off its low, so wherever it stops, if it can rally plus 100%, very strong chance that that was the low and we are now done. We can go back in history. So I want you to know there are some very tough decisions you have to make. And one of the tough decisions you have to make in investing is that you are constantly in the dark here. So we're going to go through this data. I just want to show you. So this is TradingView. We're looking on TradingView. And if you're doing this on the computer, what you can do is you can actually I hold shift on the keyboard, and that's a shortcut for the ruler, and you left click and then you move it up and you right click. Also, you can just use the ruler tool. Or if you really want, you can use the price tool. This is even better. Price range tool. So what you can do is on the price tool, so you can see when we went to this low here, when we went up plus 100%, see, we went up here more than 100% plus 235. But it's easy to look at the chart in hindsight. So what I like to do is I go back in time and I try to imagine we're trying to pick the bottom, because you don't know what's going to come to the right here, you see? So this is why, friends, please like, subscribe, bell button, or this is the juicy competitive edge information you get. 20,000x was what Bitcoin's first cycle did. Okay, so as it's going down, you don't know what comes for the future. I want to imagine that you know something can happen, right, where Bitcoin goes up. So you're trying to look for any keys. So you know this wick down here? If you measured it down here to the top, you're originally going to see, oh my God, this went up 105%, but that wasn't the bottom, right? So yes, there are these hyper volatile early days of Bitcoin where this rule, if you will, kind of doesn't work. And it's along the way, on the way down. Now, this is a 2W chart. This is a 2-week chart. You just type in 2W if you want, just to simplify it. But you can see how once we had gone down a significant amount and we went back up, you see the plus 100%, it had fulfilled the prophecy, and that was actually the bottom. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue and I'm going to show you the next bear market. This was the Mt. Gox Ponzi market. So this was the one we collapsed. This had some volatility on the way down. So I'm going to measure from this period here, and you can see how it goes up. It touches 98 or about 100% exactly on that point. But it continued lower. Right, so I'm not even going to measure this one just to show you how many times does this 100% really happen, or this wasn't 100%, this is only a 70%. So this is where you're just going to have to say, well, the top was in November to December. I think this was the 1st of December in 2013, and then this period was only 5 months after that. So this is something to think about when it comes to creating a rule. So I'm already showing you. Yes, we rallied plus 100%, but it is still within a year of the Bitcoin top. So we are less than 12 months of passing from that Bitcoin top. So if you had dropped down somewhere, I know you're going to have to do this on the fly when this comes in the next bear market, right? You have to say, because you don't know the right-hand side. And you're just seeing here, you're like, okay, you just have to say, hey, maybe this was the top. I don't know if it is, but maybe it is, right? Remember, Bitcoin's down $400. You don't know what's coming next. And then you see this plus 100% rally of Bitcoin off the low. And you know, you maybe have this formula because we're imagining ourselves going back in time. We don't know what the future holds yet. So you will say to yourself, hello, straight posture friend, which is myself in the past, in the future. We've rallied plus 100% off the low. Was this the bottom? And you say to yourself, hey, it hasn't been 12 months since this past swing top. It hasn't been 12 months yet. So you say, okay, we have gone plus 100%, but we haven't really been sinking down long enough. There hasn't been what I call the time capitulation. So I'm going to delete that, right? And we're going to go through. But you know what? You can just leave it here. So you know, all of these, there's no real formula, friends. We're just making these up. Now, here's another one. Another one is this. Another one is coming to the low here. And you've noticed Bitcoin didn't even almost hit 100%. I mean, this is 88%. It did not hit it. So this was not the bottom. What about this one? As you can see, yes, when it finally reached on top of, when it finally reached a plus 100% rally off this low of $161, it never looked back. So that's the 100% threshold. You see this, $327. So I'm actually going to mark this so you can see this line here. Right, I'm going to mark this 300 and here we go. This $300 here. It never actually came back after that point. It crossed it. See you later. That was the confirmation. And what I mean by not coming back, it did not come back to this, not come back to the lows. It was just done. If you zoom into this period, you will see that it was not easy. I mean, there were so many times here, this whole zone, everyone thought it was over. I want to show you what it looks like on a linear chart because we're using a log chart to obfuscate it. So if we look at a linear chart, have a look at how crappy it looked. You don't know it's ever going to come back to the top, friends. You have no idea. So I'm going to delete this 100%. Look how ugly this looks. Focus your eyes here. I'm just going to put a big fat red arrow so you can see. Just focus your eyes on how garbage that is. This is a 2-week period. You go up, down, like you don't know what's happening. It's just, we can't move. We're never going to go back to the top. And don't forget, you know that a lot of people bought Bitcoin at $100 and even down at $1. And here it is at $300 and it was $1,000 and you're thinking, oh man, those people who bought at $10, they're killing it. They're the ones who got in early. Satoshi's dumping on me. Everything's over. That's what's the mindset of everybody in the market at this time. That's why you are here for high value content and I'll show you this. Which other influencer is out there doing this hard work and going back in time and showing us, teaching us how to be stronger and wiser? Not judging people from the past saying, oh, they're stupid. I'll never make their same mistake. You got to learn. You're here to learn. You got a straight back. You got some fluffy slippers. Look what happens next. You eventually get this is a Bitcoin halvening pump. Do you see this vertical line? This is a Bitcoin halvening when it came, and you can see that we had friendship into there. So remember, we did have the 100% rally from this point. When it rallied a plus 100%, it finally did a plus 100% off where it stopped. It confirmed it. It had been over 12 months since the top. So when we come back and we look here, now we get to see that the cycle repeats again. And very interesting, this is going to be very, very critical for you to see. Bitcoin did this big crash, right? Bitcoin did like 70% here. Look at this, friends. I'm going to get right here and I'm going to do a plus. Look at that. It doesn't hit it. It doesn't hit plus 100%. I'm zooming in right into it. Right into it. Look how close this was. Look how close this was. It literally missed it by, wow, $20. $20 to $30. So, but you could also use that time filter, right? It had not been more than a year or to around 12 months since the big top, since 20K up here. It did not touch that. So, you know, even if it did hit this magical plus 100% rally off the low, you can still have that filter for yourself. Notice that this was in December, now you're in March, you're 3 to 4 months from that top. It hasn't been enough. You know, the condition has not truly been met. So even if it did hit that, it's not the end of the world. And then if we go to the bottom, right, this is where I went basically all in. I just want you to know, look at this, right? When you go to the bottom, you could then be saying, when Bitcoin finally crossed, this is the point, 6,200. This is where you say, okay, the bottom's confirmed. This is 6,200 just because that is a 100% off the low. That point, 6,200. So if you're living your life in here, even at 5K, we didn't know. So I want to take you back, right? I'm going to just put like a daily chart, right? I want to put a daily chart. I want to show you what it was actually like when we go back there because it looks easy when you're checking it out from the past, but you did not know. I mean, there was a lot of damage. Look at these left-hand side damage. Everybody was just absolutely crushed. So we did not know that was the bottom. I know, look at this. Even when you're up 60% off the low, 50%, it didn't mean anything. Everybody's still destroyed. So even Bitcoin at 5,000, everybody's still destroyed. When it crossed 6,200, that is when you can say, oh, wow, there's like a 90% chance that was the bottom. It's actually never coming back there ever again. And then bang, look what happens. But we did have a zombie virus. We did have a zombie virus that came back. So that's something to think about. I want you to know something. I want you to know a secret. You can see from how a market behaves around a black swan where the true value was. And what I mean by that is there was a lot of, if you look at this, I'm going to zoom in here. There is a lot of up and down action here. The market was really liking to accept this price. You know what that tells me? That tells me that, you know, this zombie virus, even if the zombie virus never happened, there was a chance, a good chance, we still would have came back to this 6,200 mark, which was exactly the plus 100% mark off the low. And I think we would have faked everybody out. We would have come out, faked everybody out, and then just continued. But, you know, in our timeline, in our universe, we got the path of the zombie virus, the black swan coming out of nowhere. Yeah. So there will be another time where we don't get the black swan, where it just continues as normal. That's how you have to view it. So we're continuing. You get to see how it's pretty reliable. It's actually quite reliable to see this. Now I'm going to delete this, delete these, and we're going to go to today. So you want to know, all right, we've done the homework, we've done the research. What about moving into today? What has happened today? Well, from the FTX collapse, so right here, let's go right here, was FTX Ponzi collapsing. Soy Bankman-Fried eating his cucumbers, right? Banging Caroline on that disgusting beanie bag. You know, they were the bottom signal. Everybody said it was the start of the bear market. That was just the very start. And I was yelling like a madman with a peanut brain saying, you got to go all in. You got to go super hard. You have to go super, super aggressive. You know, you have to buy. It feels bad. I kept saying it feels bad, but you have to get in more, man. There's too many signals. Everybody's depressed. So let's actually get the ruler and actually see how much did we actually rally from this low point. You can see here. I want to get this exact point, friends. This is why it's very critical. Oh, you know what? I didn't start it from the exact bottom. If you start it from the bottom, it's not even fully amount. You can see, do we get 100%, friends? Let's say right close. Look how close this is. Like our whole future. There we go. This is actually magneted now. Oh my God. Well done, friends. Plus 100%. Here we go. Plus 100% off the low. We hit it. We cracked it. I'd love everybody to have a look at this and just think to yourself, even seeing what we've seen, we've done a plus 100%. Even if you say, oh, what if it's plus 99% here? Well, since that top, right, where we are now has now been, it was over a year to get that plus 100%. So the condition is already met. But today, it's over, like that's 574 days since the actual top, the actual technical top. So looking at this, me personally, I believe we've bottomed. I don't know the future, but going off everything in the past, I know a lot of people say bad economy, bad everything, world depression, inflation, interest rates, they're all scamming, SEC. I know everybody is saying that, but I promise you, you do yourself no favor by reading the news. Gary Gensler's bald head and all the wigs he puts on his OnlyFans, no amount of tipping is going to get him to tell you where the price is going next. You can tip Gary Gensler's OnlyFans all you want. He can DM you sweet nothing, send you cute emojis. He can send you that monkey face that all the girls like to use. You know which one I'm talking about. The monkey face with the monkey face, the one everybody loves. Like, hee hee hee, oh my God, look at me. Oh my God, look at you. You know, the monkey face that all the girls use. So no matter how many times you go through this, I'm telling you, the cycle, human emotions, they're more powerful than this. All the scammers and the insiders and the thieves, they all front run the news coming ahead. They all do it. So we get to see this, and I want you to know, if things were so bad, would the insider scammers have pumped us up plus 100% off the low? That's how you have to think. You can't be thinking like, oh, golly gee, the SEC is coming and Binance. You can't be thinking like that. You have to be thinking, if this was really going to go down, no one would have spent their billions of dollars here. which they did. They spent billions of dollars to get in to anticipate this news. You know what you might find? You might find that the real reason behind the people buying it up here is that they believed the US Fed was close to holding rates. So the market, it always steps ahead. You know, back here, you'll say, oh, I don't believe you because FTX went down and then we recovered off that and macro wasn't even in the focus back here. Yeah, but you're not the smart money. You're not the strong money. You're not the big whale money. These people are thinking in big different epochs of how they can move in liquidity. They're thinking months advance. They're thinking what's the world going to look like in 6, 12, 18 months from now. That's how I'm thinking. I'm thinking about, oh, golly gee, 2 days from now, is Gary Gensler going to release a tweet where he's going to do a birthday candle thing? That's how you have to think. You don't have to do anything super amazing yourself. Just buy and hold. Buying and holding and taking that view and not selling is taking that position. That's all you have to do. It's so simple. It's beautiful, isn't it? You literally buy and hold. You just do nothing else. That means you are playing for a longer time duration. So we have these conditions. We've met, these two conditions are met. We've hit plus 100% off the low, and it's been more than 12 months since the top. So to me, I think this is enough cause for concern to believe that, yeah, we've bottomed. But, of course, now everybody's going to say, hey, but, you know, even though we've bottomed, this would be very painful. Like, yeah, we could do a technical bottom. The crypto industry can still go through some absolute gargantuan pain and torment. That can still happen. So this is where you're just going to have to take the punt. I don't have the answers. If you think you're going to get all the answers, you never are. I went back. I showed you the charts, friends. I showed you the charts. Do you think anybody had answers here? Do you think anybody had answers down in this zone? No one had answers, man. No one knew what the future of crypto or Bitcoin would look like. No one had anything. Do you even think I had answers? I didn't have real answers. I was like, maybe this thing works out. Maybe it doesn't. It's the same thing today. It really is the same thing today. The only difference today is, I'll be honest, you've got very high quality information. But at our expense, so even though I can provide this high quality information and other people can too, the gains are less. So obviously we all know Bitcoin's not going to give you like a 30x, man, not even 20x. People in Bitcoin, they've now had to bargain with themselves saying, oh, it's a long-term retirement plan. Like they're going to, I promise you, right? You know, back here, this is, okay, my final message to you is, this is why it's super important. Now that we know if crypto's bottomed, don't think, okay, now, you know, I've just got to go in Bitcoin because, look, you can have an allocation to it. That's fine. I'm just telling you, you're not retiring off it. That's okay. If you want to come and play around in that and buy something in an orange logo, that's cool. But back here, the retirement plan for Bitcoin was 4 years. I promise you that. It was 4 years. Back in 2019, everyone said by 2021, 2022, Bitcoin could be $180,000. They're printing so much money. That was the retirement plan. It was all it would take you was 4 years. You know what it is now? You know what it is now, Prince? 10 to 15 years. Where am I getting these numbers from? This was the average influencer. The average influencer back in 2019, 2020, like the average Bitcoin bull was saying, man, you can retire off Bitcoin in 4 years. You could retire. That's what the average person was saying because Bitcoin's going well over 100K. It could hit like 100K is the minimum. They go, it could be 180, 250. It should match gold 500K. You'll retire. You just got to own one Bitcoin. That's what they were saying. Now the overall crowd's market message is not retire off Bitcoin in 4 years anymore. Not even close. The marketing message has pivoted. Bitcoin maxis are now talking about Bitcoin. It's a life raft now. It's meant to protect you against the downside, right? Which is wrong because it didn't protect you against inflation, right? It didn't. That's the truth. But two as well, the retirement plan, the number go up part, they're not talking about 4 years anymore. They're talking about by 2030, we could be $500,000. Like 2030? You know, in 2019, we were talking about Bitcoin 500K. Let's get up here. We were talking about Bitcoin 500K, the golden peanut zone. We were talking about that. Literally, look how underwhelming it was, by the way. I'm going to bring the box here. I'm just going to show you. We were talking about it for 2021, 2022 up here. That's what everybody believes. I'm not joking. Yeah, because it was just, if you just get this same parabola and you just do the same distance, that's what you get. You get to the golden peanut zone up the top. But look where we landed instead. Look at this difference. Look at the difference of the gap. Bang. Look at that. That's disgusting. Look at this huge difference. This is 300K. It's not even the real target, by the way. And this is like 40, 50K. That is insane disgusting. Insane disgusting. So the box is now getting moved. I'm leaving this golden peanut zone up here. We're not going to get this. I don't think we're going to get this. This golden peanut zone might have to move back even more further. So you've learned something today, friends. You've learned Has Bitcoin bottomed? Of course. Has crypto bottomed? You never really know. You have your cute little monkey emoji here, and you're wondering, what can you do? Well, we've gone 100% off the low, which no other influencer, no one talks about it. And it's been more than 12 months since the top. So I'll never say never, but maybe, I don't know, 90% chance it bottomed. 90% chance. That's all I can say. Hey, it's never done this before. If it wants to come and throw something new and send us to zero and down the drain, cool. But you know what else they won't send to zero? Our friendship. Because it'll never run out. Tell mum and dad we're going to use the monkey emojis from now on. And that we love them. Like, subscribe, button, or catch you in the next one.